3, 2, 1, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Ooh. Anyway, this is more so in relation to my journey as a mixed martial artist and as a fighter. I've been training MMA for over 8. Now it's 8 years. Shit, it's 8 years. Damn, girl. It's 8 years, and although it's been 8 years, I still don't feel like I'm an expert. I can fight. I can know the fundamentals. I can show the fundamentals. But there's just so much to MMA that I'm still getting through and learning. But this is more so for the mindset. Every topic that I talk about on YouTube is more for open conversation. This is what I believe. This is a sum up of my beliefs, of the things that I observe, the people that I speak to, my experiences. This is about the it factor. The it factor that I'm gonna do my best to express what I mean. And then you all let me know if you get it or not. So, one example that I can think of the it factor is, so when I first started the sport, I was 18, 19 years old, and as an angry child, my biggest emotion has always been anger. But when I first came into the gym, I fought angry. I gave attitude, especially to Taz. I gave him so much attitude. And there were many times that I would talk shit and I would talk back to him. And yeah, I was a douchebag. I was very immature. But because I was angry, I took a lot of things personal. And I remember one time that I sparred him. I was so mad at him. But the whole time in my mind, because I was so mad at him, I'm like, you know what? No, you're not going to beat me up. Even though most of the time he's beating me up. But at that moment, I took it personal. And I was just so angry. But in various conversations that we'd had, in one of those specifically, he pretty much pointed out that I will not make it. I cannot remember exactly his words, but I do remember him being disappointed in me because I was skipping class and I would make excuses not to go, even though that's what I said I was gonna do. I did not keep my word, and he knew and he thought that I was not gonna make it, and I was not gonna make it through. But along those lines and conversations that we had, and he looked at me and pretty much said to me, like, you're not gonna make it, just stop, just quit. It made me so angry at him, but it made me angry at myself because, one, I wanted to quit so bad, but I also wanted to prove him wrong. It was one of those situations where I didn't want to let him be right, because many times that he will teach the class, we will talk about life. He will be right about many things. Like, he knew that I would go back to my ex. He knew that I would want to skip class because I was being lazy, or I was thinking too much of school, and I wanted to overstudy, and I didn't want to train because I was lazy. So, for many of those days that he was right, I was so angry at him. And he made it known that I was not going to make it. But because I didn't want to prove him right, I came back to the gym and I questioned it many times, like, why am I here? And I will come back and train again, and I will spar, and I will get beat up, and I will come back. And I will still ask myself, why am I coming back? And all these questions that I used to ask myself, like, I would cry myself to the gym asking, like, why am I here? Like, what am I trying to prove? But yeah, maybe at that moment I wanted to prove him wrong. It made me angry for him to not believe in me, and for him to not think that I could do it, that I was weak. And it's crazy because I didn't quit on myself because I was angry. So that helped me stick around. And when I first told him I wanted to fight, of course, it was shocking for him. It was shocking for Carla, my family. One, no one expected me to want to fight ever. And then two, I was not in the right mindset on a lot of things. But I was so I was 100% sure that I wanted to fight. Although my family didn't believe in me, I didn't have a lot of confidence. And I also felt like, I mean, what do I have to lose? I didn't have a career. Like, at that moment I was going to school. I was trying to figure out my life. So I'm like, what am I going to lose if I fight? Like, okay, I could lose, it's going to suck. But my mindset was just so sure on me wanting to fight. And so it was shocking. But we trained for the fight, and I felt like I was finally stepping out of my shell. Even though it's still rocky, don't get me wrong. My shell was full of shyness, of embarrassment, of the fear of failure. Like, shit, what are people gonna think? What is my mom gonna think of me? What is my dad gonna think of me? What are all these people gonna think of me? Like, I suck, like I will go train, and like everyone was more experienced than I was. Everyone seemed so good and I wasn't. So I felt like, okay, shit, now either I keep going back and I train and I will not allow anybody to make me feel otherwise, even though I will cry, or I will keep going back. And I did. And in one of those conversations that I had with Taz, we talked about how I allowed other people to take my voice away and take many things from me. I didn't feel like I took my own self-worth and I used to give it away. Like, literally, my voice, I lost my voice. I lost who I was because I was trying to please other people. My ex-boyfriends, I was trying to please them, literally. I was trying to make other people happy, but not focus on my own happiness. So me wanting to fight was the first time I stood up for myself. And he told me, he's like, you're not gonna let them take this fight away from you. And those were so like stuck in my heart. And I said, you know what? Fuck yeah. Like, I'm not gonna let them people take this away from me. I know I'm jumping into things, but this relates. The actual first fight that I had after the first round, and that my first opponent took me down. She took me down and I was like, shit. Like, damn. Everyone got all scared. Luckily, I finished on top and I ground and pounded her. But that first round after, Taz put my hands on his shoulders, and he told me, he's like, do not let her take this away from you. And it's like, damn, like that at that moment, I didn't know, like, shit, like it just, something in my brain said, you know what, fuck this, I'm not gonna let her take this away from me, and I'm gonna fight back and I'm gonna win. And I did. So it was me that I did that. Like, there was something in me that I had to go through on my own without anyone doing that for me. Yes, Taz was there, Carla was there, some of my family members were there, my teammates were there, but it had to grow within me for me to say, you know what, I'm gonna go through this, I'm gonna go through it, and I'm gonna get through it, and I'm gonna win it. So that I really don't know how to describe, but it's the it that doesn't make you quit, that at some point it makes you either angry, because you know what, you don't want to give that much power, but you want to get through it. And at the same time, it makes you sad. It makes you feel all these emotions, because even after going through it, you might be happy about it. Literally you might be happy about it and you make it through. But we are so scared to get through it. Like, we're so scared to step out of our comfort, step out of our own shell, step out of ourselves, because of fear of disappointing somebody, or fear of maybe not living up to the expectations that people put upon us, or maybe it's because we just never lived that life, so we're just like, fuck it, we're just gonna stay there and be comfortable. But that's not how, like, for example, me, I know my brain doesn't function off of just comfort. I have to do something tough, and that's why I do the videos. I I fight every day. I do things that are uncomfortable. I come to the gym and put myself to suffer and pain and go through this hard ass workouts, the sparring sessions, everything. I put myself through that because I know that on the other side, it's gonna be beautiful and peaceful. But I ask myself, why are we so scared to go through it? Like, why do we question ourselves? And this is something that I ask myself too. Like, why do I question myself before even attempting it? Why do I stop myself from doing it? Is it a like brain chemicals just being sissies and say, you know what, you can't do it? Yes, maybe it's our brain chemistry just saying, you know what, just be negative to ourselves, but it doesn't mean we have to listen to that negativity. And yeah, maybe at times it may be scary, but that's the scary part. That it part is scary. You don't know what it is, but until you live it, you know what it is. Like, I cannot describe it, but all I can say based on examples and based on the people in the life that I'm living now is because I did not allow it to stop me, and I will not allow it to stop me, no matter how hard it is, no matter how long it's gonna take me to maybe go back to a fight. I'm not gonna let this stop me because I'm a mixed martial artist and I've accepted that for myself, and I've accepted who I am. And I'm literally in the process of saying, you know what, little by little, I'm getting to that point where I'm not holding back on anything anymore. And yeah, it's taking me some time, but at the same time, I also understand that there's people in my corner all the time supporting me and not allowing me to stay stagnant and miserable and sad and comfortable. So I will continue to live it. I know I went on a rant, but if you guys understand what I'm talking about, please comment or at least try to explore the idea of getting to that it factor and living your life and doing something hard that you never thought you could do, but then you lived it and you did it. And how did it make you feel?